My fiancé and my best friend are attracted to each other. I am not the oop. Oop is throw RA 23428. Trigger warning. Mental health issues. Less than. My fiancé and my friend are attracted to each other. Advice please. Original post February 4, 2022. My fiancé and friend, we'll call her Ashley, are attracted to each other and subtly flirt with each other. And I'm not too sure where to go from here. They have much more in common in terms of hobbies and interests. I.e., both are big into gaming, computers, Lego, guitar, personality types, etc. Ashley, who is single, has described my fiancé as having golden retriever energy, and then later said that she is looking for a partner with the same kind of energy and traits that he has. My fiancé has subtly mentioned that he thinks it would be cool to buy a house, a future goal of ours, and have friends, meaning Ashley, come live with us. He's mentioned that he really likes Ashley's personality, and I agree she's very talkative, bubbly, and fun to be around. We went over to Ashley's a little while ago so fiancé could help her with some DIY home improvement stuff. I noticed that fiancé dressed slightly differently, like wore nicer clothes than usual, when we were getting ready to go over. When we got there I noticed Ashley was extra bubbly around fiancé. It was then that they discovered their mutual love for the same games, how both of them have a desire to build their own PC, etc. They even finished each other's sentence when making the same joke. Fiancé also kept pointing out little minor safety infractions around Ashley's place in a joking manner, sort of subtly implying that he wanted her to be safe and protected, etc. To which Ashley would just kind of giggle and be like, "Oh, it's fine." Ashley also made a comment about how she's been talking with a guy off Tinder who has flaked on her a few times and basically said that all Tinder guy had to do was come and help her with what fiancé was helping her to do around her place, and she would have let him smash, so to speak. A few weeks ago fiancé's friend, myself, and Ashley went to an escape room together. At the end, Ashley accidentally brushed her hand against the front of fiancé's pants, then looked at him, laughed. Fiancé just shook his head and laughed, and we moved on. They didn't know that I saw, but of course, I did. All in all, I've just noticed lots of subtle flirting going on between them. I didn't let it show that I was bothered while we were at Ashley's a little while ago because I didn't want to make things awkward. But on the way home I was kind of quiet and distant, processing my thoughts and feelings. Fiancé could tell something was up and tried to be extra nice. He did ask me if something was wrong or if I wanted to talk, but I just said no, because I felt like if I started talking about it at that time I'd get too emotional. It just got me thinking about the fact that fiancé proposed to me a little after 1 year together. Technically when we were still in the honeymoon phase. We've been together 2.5 years now, and have lived together for most of this time. It also got me thinking that maybe by being with me, fiancé is being held back from being with someone who he could be happier and more compatible with. Not saying Ashley specifically, but even someone like her. Fiancé's ex was similar to Ashley in terms of being a huge gamer. Very chatty, sociable and adventurous with lots of friends, etc. For reference, I'm definitely more quiet and introverted. Don't have a lot of friends or family. And I'm not big into gaming and anime. I am still working on discovering more hobbies, interests that I am passionate about. But there are a few things I enjoy, like reading, knitting, crocheting, learning about space and the universe, etc. I have a therapy appointment in a few weeks where I plan on discussing my feelings, but just wanted to get our relationship advice take on the matter. Any advice or insight would be appreciated. Thanks. Relevant comments. AC. Have you actually talked to your fiancé about this? Don't get married if you can't talk about things that bother you. Oop replied, I brought up the fact that I think they're attracted to each other. And he totally denied feeling any attraction to her. He said he loved me and wants to be with me. It's just difficult to believe, though in light of what I saw between them it honestly seemed they'd be a much better match together given the chemistry and many commonalities between them. Admittedly though, I've been known to be oversensitive sometimes and already have low self-esteem, hence the upcoming therapy appointment. I should also mention that fiancé has never given me a reason to believe he would cheat before. I do love him. And I know he loves me too. We have each other's phone passwords. He doesn't try to hide things, etc. I don't believe he and Ashley would cheat together. But it's just the knowledge of feeling like they're attracted to each other and maybe even better suited for each other that I'm struggling with. Skulls and Roses 66. I agree with everyone that you need to talk with your fiancé about this. What is really telling for me is how you said he was being extra nice to you afterwards and asking you what was wrong. That to me makes it sound like he knows why you were upset and he knows what he was doing was wrong. And he's trying to cover his ass. Oop replied. I confronted him and he told me that he has absolutely no feelings for her. Which is hard for me to believe. I strongly think he does find her attractive. But his guy logic is telling him not to admit that, as it might cause even more friction. I did tell him that it's okay to feel some attraction for someone else. Even when in a committed, long-term relationship, we're all human and that part of us can't be turned off like a light switch. I went on to tell him where it becomes problematic is when that attraction is acted upon. He just continued to refuse that he had any feelings towards Ashley. And the only reason he came to do the DIY home improvement stuff is because of me. She is my friend. After all. Additional comment from Oop. True, it was almost as if they thought I wouldn't catch on to the playful teasing, flirting. I did though. I honestly don't believe my fiancé would cheat. Ashley is more difficult to gauge though. I have only known her for about 6 months. She is extremely open and has no filter when it comes to talking about sex and just other sorts of topics the average person would be like, should I say this out loud in front of others? Quote, like I mentioned, she is really fun, talkative, easy to be around. I guess that's what appealed to me about her, because I find it difficult to make new friends and be around others. But yeah, I don't know. If I cut ties with her, I worry my fiancé will look at me like I'm crazy, possessive. Maybe going forward in the future I can just try to minimize the times my fiancé and her are around each other. I don't know. He is already acting like I'm kind of nuts for thinking he has any attraction towards her. Oop updated in the comments. Update. Thanks everyone for your input. I have talked to my fiancé, who adamantly swore there were no feelings for her and was really blindsided by me bringing this up to him. He repeatedly told me he loved me, did not feel like he was too hasty in proposing to me, and that his feelings for me have not changed at all. He said there may have been feelings or attraction on her part towards him, but he was completely oblivious to it if there was anything, and those feelings or attraction were absolutely not reciprocated by him. He agreed that we should keep our distance from Ashley and said he was 100% good with not having her in our lives if need be, if it meant keeping his and my relationship on good terms in terms of having her live with us. He said he was not talking about Ashley exclusively, but also a friend or two of his, but also included Ashley because he considered her a friend of mine. I guess maybe I jumped the gun a bit, assuming he was only talking about Ashley. My mistake. In regards to her brushing against his crotch at the escape room, he did acknowledge that this happened but told me he brushed it off like it was nothing because he figured it was an accident. To be fair, His back was towards me when this happened, and I could only see that Ashley had tried to hold eye contact with him and giggled when it happened. I only saw the back side of him. He shook his head, kind of laughed, and then kept walking. I mentioned that it made me feel like maybe he was settling for less with me in a way because it seemed he and I had less in common than he and Ashley did. He reassured me that things like video games, guitar, music, etc. was just surface-level stuff to have in common with a partner. He told me that our common values and goals mean way more to him than whether I can keep up with him in video games or not. We talked for a good long while, and I do feel a lot better about the whole thing. My fiancé is just an overall very friendly, positive, outgoing kind of person, so maybe I was looking at his efforts to be nice in a social situation as more than it really was. I do still plan on bringing this all up to my therapist in a few weeks to work on myself so I can bring my best self forward in our relationship. As for Ashley, I have not yet made a solid decision on what to do about her, but a lot of this negative behavior seems to be stemming from her. I am going to keep my interactions with her to a very basic and bare minimum, especially until I can discuss all of this with a therapist and get some solid insight on how to deal with it. Again, thank you all kindly for your input, especially those who offered compassionate and empathetic advice. It was very much appreciated. Oop added a second update in the comments. As a further update, I will also just add a bit more context to my conflicting feelings towards Ashley. Yes, we did only meet 6 months ago, but she has told me a few times already that she is so glad we met and that she is thankful to have me as a friend, and I've reciprocated those feelings every time. She struggles with mental health issues, depression, anxiety, ADHD, neurodivergence. She goes to see a therapist for these issues. When her and I hung out last week, she had told me that she was struggling with suicidal thoughts at times and shared the same with her therapist. Her therapist got her to identify 2 people in her life that she could call if ever these feelings became stronger, and Ashley identified me as one of the people she felt close enough to talk to about this. So even though we did only meet 6 months ago, you can see how we have grown closer in this time, which just made her behavior towards my fiancé very confusing. I struggle to understand why she would potentially risk our friendship over being over the top, flirty and inappropriate towards him. I am not the oop. I honestly think it's okay to have friends that share your hobbies more than your partner. My partner and I don't share all our hobbies, but we do have a lot of stuff that we enjoy doing together, and he and I both have friends that we're basically friends with because they share our interests so much. So, that wouldn't be a red flag for me. And I don't think that makes Oop's boyfriend more compatible with this Ashley person or something. I also think an introvert and an extrovert can be very compatible and complement each other very well. That being said, Ashley is acting out of line for sure. Seems like a perfect storm of low self-esteem, poor communication between partners, and a friend with a warped idea of boundaries. Glad Op can talk it through with their therapist and manage to voice it with their partner. People who come on that hot and heavy that early in a relationship, platonic or not, throw up all my red flags. It's been 6 months and you're basically a new friend's emergency contact? Danger. Will Robinson. I suspect she uses people up and moves on to new ones. This is definitely not concluded. The brushing of the dick was 100% on purpose. When someone accidentally touches another person's private parts, the natural reaction in my mind would be embarrassed, apologetic, and then to do everything possible to avoid eye contact. Not be giggly and flirty and make eye contact while being giggly and flirty. The entire time I was wondering how this is a new problem. Because surely her bestie would have met the guy she was dating way earlier. Then I got to, I've known her 6 months. Location flag, location flag, location flag, location flag, location flag. I just wanted you to know that I have suicidal thoughts and you're one of only 2 people keeping me alive. I'ma basically hump your boyfriend in front of you. But don't say anything, or I'll kill myself. Quote, yeah, I hope Op runs far away lol. Bro, they've only been friends 6 months but she chose her as a person to call? When I did that plan with my therapist I chose my mom. Ashley would be out of my life if I was Oop, that's simple. Oop should distance herself from Ashley for her own peace of mind if nothing else. This is not going to end well, I'm guessing. With friends like that, why have enemies at all? I think Oop needs to just slowly let Ashley fade out of her life. I think she was trying to get with her fiancé and is a total manipulator. Kick Ashley out of your life. This is so sad to read. BC the Op is so down on herself. Like, she's expecting him to want to be with someone else because she thinks she's not enough. I think Ashley is a manipulator, plain and simple. I had a friend like this. She disrespected every boundary I put in place and tried to ruin my marriage. She hit on my husband, tried to get me to lie to him, etc. When I eventually cut contact completely, my car was vandalized. I am pretty sure it was her. She also pulled the "I'll kill myself if you don't talk to me" card. She cornered me at work several times. Also, she stalked me to a new job. When someone becomes your best friend in a matter of weeks, there is something wrong. Sounds like Ashley is jealous of Op and her fiancé's relationship and is trying to drive them apart. Not concluded for me until we hear an update about what happens when Op and her fiancé Gray rocked Ashley or went NC altogether. Open mouth smile. I had a friend exactly like Ashley for years. Down to the T. Oop needs to drop her like a hot potato or she will ruin every relationship she has. She gets off on taking advantage of people's low self-esteem and manipulating their kindness. Deep down she's either jealous or a psychopath.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.